I'm sure sports. You know me there, from coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get your sports over here from near and far. Boy, 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 boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know no game play, that me not say it. If me never see no game, me not know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you a go love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crap of players. We are good enough. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment. Let me know what your thoughts are.
Jamaican herbs and spices add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Trick Nick Jerk Barbecue Sauce
gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, Scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
All right, good morning. Top of the morning to you and welcome to I Am Sure Sports. I'm your host, Man. Hey, we are alive this morning, so we want to give thanks to the Most High God, the one who says the whole earth is His, the fullness thereof, and the world that dwell therein. You know, when we rise in the morning, we give God thanks because we have life and life more abundantly. We may not have all the things that we want. We may not be at the place we think we ought to be, but we're alive and we have one more opportunity to make better of life. And so I want to charge you today to seek to love God, the Creator, and love people. And if you can do those two things, you would have lived a good life. Love God, love people. And to love people, understand you must also love yourself. Remember that. Make today a day when you love God, the Creator, you love people, and you love yourself. For God is love. No matter how hard it is, no matter how hard people may be, how difficult they may be, make a conscious decision of your will to love them nonetheless. And you'll see how joy will flood your life. Again, thank you for joining us. I want to say a big thank you also to our sponsors, Tricknick. Tricknick is a Jamaican owned and operated company in Canada, and they use authentic Jamaican herbs and spices to make all their products. They're offering 25% on all their products. All you have to do is shop at www.tricknick.ca and use the code I am sure sports 001. If you do that, you get 25% discount. They have a recipe book that they'll be giving away as well. And they have a package of 6 products that they make for your barbecue, your jerk needs, they have curry paste, hot pepper sauce. There is a recipe book in it. So you shop at www.tricknick.ca right now. See all that they have. And also join their YouTube channel so they will help you to prepare your meals. They ship anywhere and everywhere in the world. All right. Now, want to say a big thank you to all the subscribers as we approach 2,500, and we count that as a major accomplishment because we started this year for the purpose of just giving a perspective from the other side, from a next vantage point. We seek to be as open and honest as we can be in all things, with respect to every person. We operate under the motto, where experience don't meet expectation. We at I Am Sure Sports choose to fill the gap with trust. And this morning, we have the privilege of speaking with the newly appointed or freshly appointed vice president of CFU or CONCACAF, of CFU, right? And also the president of the Jamaica Football Federation, former president of the Clarendon Football Association, was a manager in schoolboy football, didn't just pop up as president, has always been around serving, giving his life to football. He's going to speak to us now about just his own journey and also about what is happening now in terms of football at all levels. You know, we have uh, uh, the youth female team in camp, the senior men's team is over there in Peru, getting ready to play Peru in a friendly game. We have a World Cup qualifier coming on. So there's a whole lot of stuff happening, and he's here to speak to us. So want you to, you know, help me make Mr. Michael Ricketts welcome to I Am Sure Sports this morning. Mr. Ricketts, look like our feed is gone, so we're gonna wait until he the feed is sorted out so we can speak to him. But yes, we're gonna speak to Mr. Michael Ricketts this morning about just football in general. Mr. President,
I am hearing you clearly, sir. Good
oh, there seem to be um the connection on your end.
morning.
Yeah, the connection on your end seem to be giving a little bit of a problem. So let's see how it goes. All right, let me see. Uh, 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 I'm seeing you. You're frozen, but there seem to be no man. I know you're hearing me, but we're not hearing you on this side. It is there's a uh there are some glitches with the internet on your side. So let's see if we can have that. All right, we're gonna work on this. See if we can get the feed uh going and working. Punch in all your questions. In the meantime, so we can have as many of your questions answered. Not sure we'll be able to answer all of them, but as best as we can, along with slew of questions that we have, we would love to, you know, take a few of your questions just to get feedback. Okay, there you go. You hearing me now?
I am hearing you clearly.
Okay. Again, welcome to I Am Sure Sports, sir. Hope you and the family doing well this morning.
What your opening comments were indeed most profound. Each day we get up, we have so much to give thanks for, and we sometimes take it for granted. But God has been good to us. We have shown us so much love that He gave His Son for us. So we really do have much to be thankful for.
Amen. 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 Yeah, man. I appreciate it. I'm telling you, that's it, man. We have life. many
Indeed,
people, many people hearts stop beating
that's correct.
5 minutes ago. But here we are. So love God, love people. I think that's the whole duty of mankind. Yeah. All right. So I know that you're probably, one of the most probably misunderstood, um, probably one of the most misrepresented person, misjudged person, because of the nature of your job. So I want to give you the opportunity to kind of share with us, like, how did you get to the presidency of Jamaica's football, and from where it all started to, being the president and also a vice president in CFU, right?
Yes, yes, that's correct.
That's your most recent appointment, and that
That
was
happened maybe a month ago.
a month ago.
Yeah.
Oh, but you had some you had some other appointment before,
I became an executive member maybe 6 months ago.
right? So 6 months ago you were an executive member, and then a month ago you were elevated to a vice president in CFU.
That's indeed correct.
And how many vice presidents are there?
There are actually three vice presidents at CFU,
Okay, and the president.
and the president, who is Mr. Randy Harris from Barbados.
Okay, okay, okay. And you are one of three vice presidents.
One of three vice presidents representing the Caribbean. Of course, there are 31 countries that actually make up the CFU, and an additional 10 that makes up CONCACAF. So 31 countries from the Caribbean make up the CFU, and then Central American countries and North and South American countries, totaling 10, add to the 31, which would make it 41 countries making up CONCACAF. So we are heavily represented at the CONCACAF level.
Oh,
We, of course, mean CFU.
CFU. Okay.
Yeah,
I guess that is why you guys are always sought after when FIFA have elections, because you
that's
have
correct. That's correct. There are numbers. We have numbers.
major voting block. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
What does this job entails though? You being a vice president. I mean, what are some
Well,
of the functions of a vice president?
well, certainly to give support to the leadership of the CFU. Um, they have not yet decided my portfolio responsibility as a vice president, but certainly I want to bring some change. Of course, like I've said, we have 31 numbers, so we do have some strength. So we want to ensure that we make use of our numbers. At the same time, whatever we do, we're going to be strident, but we're going to be reasonable and respectful. But there are a number of things. First, we really need to reunite the Caribbean, and the stronger countries must provide some kind of a support from maybe a technical and administrative perspective to try as best as possible to help the smaller countries. But like I've said, we've just been in office for maybe a month now. Certainly, we would have hit the track running because already we had a meeting with all the CONCACAF presidents last week.
I think we are having a break in the feed again. So let's see if we can have that. Uh sorted. One more time. I see the questions, but I'll take the first set of questions from you panelists. Yes, I did make an error. The game is the 20th of January. Yes, so we have some time. That is a game in Peru. Thank you, Mr. Blake, the journalist in the host, right? But greetings to all of you, Owen. Owen, you have been early. Ron Davis, Oyin Blake, Unseen Sports TV, respect. Marlon Pinnock, bless up. Mark Gaza, bless up. Yeah, man. Paul Marriott, always good seeing you. Uh, yeah, Claudine, Blue Mountain Entertainment, bless up as well. Seem to be having some internet issues on the president's side. The president of the JFF that is, and so let's once he comes back in, we'll pick up where we left off. But again, at the 30-minute mark, I will take some of your comments, and after that, every 15 minutes, I'll take some of your questions that are in the comment section and pose them to the president for him to to answer. But just getting started. Really hope that there are no more interruptions um, with the internet, because this is, I think, a very important discussion that needs to be had. There are so many questions out there concerning the state of football, where we should be at, and where we should be going. Yeah. So let's see. I've been asking, and if anyone knows this, you can help me, right? There should be something out there where I could use my internet to carry the person. Meaning, if their internet is struggling and mine is strong, once you're on the same platform, my it should be a case where my my internet sustain them. So if you know of an app that does that, please let me know. I'd really appreciate getting my hand on something like that. But having some internet challenges with the president on his end, so we're hoping that that gets sorted out and he will jump back on, because we just got started. For those of you who are just coming in, you have not missed a whole lot, right? So we're just getting started. And the president was sharing his new role and function as a vice president with the CFU, just being elevated from being a committee member or executive member to now a vice president. Yeah, formula, you're absolutely right, Uh, yeah, you're absolutely right on that one. All right, so Oyin, I see a question, but let's wait and see. Maybe, let's check and see. Maybe it's changing location. Listen, that I just, you know, you, you know, I, I mean, maybe he's not just waking up. Maybe he's working all night till morning. Have not gone to sleep yet. Could that be it? That have not slept yet. That could be it. Maybe not. Have not slept yet. Eh, Okay. All right, we're trying to fix it, so just give us a couple of, it's around 5 minutes. All right, communicating with our guests to see. All right, good thing. Listen, if you're doing a question now, what would be good for you to do is to copy it so that when it comes back, all the comments, because remember, I may not be able to go back through all the comments to ask a question, right? So you want to have it so when we get to that point, I can just ask the question. All right. So please, if you punch it in now, maybe you need to copy it so you can punch it in again at the question time, because it may be loads of comment that come in by the time I get to it. And so I don't want you to ever feel like we're ignoring your important questions. But yes, we're trying to get this sorted out. So I think we're about to do that now. I think. All right, so there you go. Think we should be good to go now. Yeah, man. J. Ross, good morning. Omar, good morning. Roger Sharp, good morning. Dre Anyweather, good morning. Conrad Smith, good morning. Roger Sharp, good morning, good morning, good morning. Man, so many of you up. I didn't know that so many of you would be up this morning. Top 10. Top 10. Good to see you, man. After the debacle of Edwin Allen top 10, it's good to see you again. Brian Maiten, good morning, man. Recently married? Big up yourself. Reno FC, good morning. The Formula Sports in the building. Always want to encourage you that it doesn't hurt subscribing to all the vloggers out there covering sports, right? Even if you don't want to watch all the content, you can turn off the notification, but at least subscribe. Subscribe to their platforms. Jason Guna, yeah, fourth place. We are up, up, up. Third, we're passing Chelsea next. Big up yourself. Morning as well to Mike Lowry. I think that name is. Hope I got it right. Yeah. Mark Chambers, big up yourself, big up yourself, big up yourself. Coach Miller, favorites for the Manning Cup and the Champions League. Big up yourself. Man, on his way to a title. So I see all the questions, Sir Blake. So, but please just make sure you have them to run again. He's coming back. So, coach is this. Good morning, man. Up and running. Some of you get the privilege of drinking some coffee. Have to wait. And yeah, man, Casey is one of the favorite, and your JC team is one of the favorite as well. Yeah, man, see, I was doing a good job until I said pass Chelsea. Oh Lord. All right, this should be us right now. All right, this is perfect, man. A whole lot better.
Okay, okay,
You should have done this from before.
okay, cool.
No, people seen you in full colors. You're probably gonna have to put that phone on vibrate. Yes, so you were speaking about the meeting that you had with all the CONCACAF presidents. I think that's where you got cut off. That's the last thing
Yeah,
where
I was saying, we're trying to discuss the role of the vice presidents, and I was saying that there are actually three vice presidents at CFU, and there were, in terms of numbers, there were 31 countries that actually make up the CFU, and an additional 10 that would make up CONCACAF. So, in terms of numbers, we do have some strength. So the onus certainly would be on us to ensure that we be respectful but strident in whatever we really want to achieve, to ensure that we get some attention, and certainly that Jamaica, being one of the stronger countries in the Caribbean, could offer some kind of a support and some kind of assistance to the smaller countries.
okay, all right. That sounds like a very good plan because I mean, at the end of the day, though we are separate islands in the Caribbean, uh, um, all of us being successful will help CARICOM in the long run.
That's correct.
So the these roles within the CONCACAF though, and CFU, are they volunteer roles? Are there roles appointment by FIFA, and FIFA now covers all, because I suspect you'd have to travel to different nations. I mean,
Well,
I know.
in terms of expenses, they the parent organization would take care of the expenses, and you certainly would be um, remunerated if you were to spend your own money. But these positions are volunteer. We do volunteer positions, but it really wouldn't cost us anything, because if we go to meetings, the fees will be taken care of, and if there is reimbursement, then that will be forthcoming.
Okay, I ask that because I know that our own um federation is I wouldn't necessarily say strapped for cash, but I'd let you comment on that further. But I would want to know that, our president, I mean, having to do with our football is
No,
traveling
it wouldn't be at a cost to us.
to us,
Us
right?
meaning our federation.
Our
But
federation.
this is not unique to us. I can't think of a sporting organization in the Caribbean that would be awash with cash. So we just have to be very careful in how we operate, and to ensure that we manage our funds well.
Okay. And I know, and I know that is very important because in a climate where one, the team is not doing as best as we would want the team to be doing. That's one of the issues. And number two, um, funds are hard to come by now. I mean, 2022 is approaching. I mean, are there strategic plans in place to increase the cash pool so that the federation can do more at all levels of the football?
Well, we are in the marketplace. Just yesterday, or rather Saturday, we had a board meeting, and this was very topical, and we had extensive discussions in this regard, how we going to market the sport for the coming year. And certainly we will be making changes. We will be making some additions to our marketing department. We really need to establish a viable marketing committee, and that in fact we've been mandated to reorganize our marketing committee by, and there was a timeline put to it, by the 7th of January. So this is indeed something that we certainly are aware of, and we definitely will be giving it some serious thought in the next few weeks.
Right. I haven't heard. You know what? I haven't heard from the. I think her name is Harris. I think she had replaced Miss Dungy. Is she still a consultant, or we have moved on from that?
No, we will be making some adjustments in that regard as well. And certainly we need to strengthen, like I've said, our marketing team. 2022 certainly going to be as challenging as 2021 was, or maybe even more challenging. But we are working very hard, assiduously, to ensure that we attract some support from corporate Jamaica, and not just locally. We are active in the marketplace internationally. So we want to make this a global effort where we try to attract overseas sponsors, and certainly once we can get some overseas sponsors on board, then life probably will be a lot easier for us.
Yeah. All right. And one of my, I've always said this, that a lot of businesses now, they are not just seeking to sponsor, they are seeking to invest. In other words, they're though even if they give it in form of sponsorship, they want to see it as investment. How will my business, or will my company benefit from the brand? What makes because what makes football at the national level, whether youth or senior level, a viable, marketable option for a businessman? If I had $10 million now, US, and say, listen, I want to pump it into the football, what product, what is there for you to say you can make back some money if you put your 10 million US?
Well, sponsorship now is being treated as part of your business. So, and like you have said, if people are going to inject capital in any kind of sponsorship deal, then there must be some returns for the investor. So naturally, um, we must have a presence, and certainly, if people are going to put their cash into sponsorship, there ought to be some kind of return. These are things that we will have to simplify going forward, and to ensure that sponsors do get value for money, especially in these times of real austerity. And COVID would have made life extremely difficult from virtually all angles, and financing is no different. But like I've said, we are having discussions with some credible and some experienced persons from a marketing standpoint, and we are very, very active internationally as well. We just hope to be able, in short order, to make some announcement and to ensure that we capture some of these big companies, some of the real sponsors, to ensure that financially we're on good footing, in good standing, because we really need to get back to the days when we pay a lot more focus on our development programs. Our grassroots program has struggled, and we certainly want to have that reactivated. We had a plan. We were on the verge of signing or leasing a property in Western Jamaica, where we were supposed to have established um, a facility, and there was in fact a facility there, a structure that would have served us well. but it fell through because of, I would think, some act of indiscretion. But we are looking forward and hoping that we can restart those negotiations and certainly can acquire some kind of a property where we can develop a proper academy.
Because I did like again, there are two things. One, because we did hear about something being done in on the north, which would have been in Senton somewhere in terms of an academy, similar to what is in Kingston at the Captain Horaceburgh Center and in Western Jamaica. So, are you saying that the plans of the one in Western Jamaica has been shelved now because of some indiscretion
Well,
and that
right.
won't be happening?
The whole process was put on hold by the government, but I am sure that they will be in touch, ensure that we get things right very soon.
Okay, so it's still a possibility that it may happen. It's
It
just
is it is definitely still a possibility.
so are the funds because I think it was Mr. Speed. It may have been Mr. Speed who said that, or I can't remember it was your Mr. Speed who in an interview said that those funds were already um
Yeah,
there.
we were having discussions with FIFA,
Right.
and they were on the verge of making these funds available, but because we were unable to finalize the arrangement, everything is now on hold. But we
All right.
will really get very active again, trying to identify a property so we can continue the process.
All right. So the other question is there a timeline when the money must be used? Because sometimes grants and those things have a particular window. Is it that there's no window? It is left to the
No,
GFF.
and we've been in contact with FIFA, and they are aware of the issues, and
Okay.
they are aware that come next month we will try to restart the process. They
Restart.
are in fact aware.
All right. So are there other because the other question is are there if you fail to get through because if it is a issue in terms of governmental decision and that has not changed, are there other locations that you could transfer the work to that would provide?
Definitely, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, definitely. And FIFA is aware, and we will if it's not working
Possible.
out, then we certainly have to look elsewhere, and we definitely will look elsewhere.
Okay. Okay. All right. But you don't know where yet. But you know you do.
No, not yet, not yet. We do have some plans on stream right now. We're doing some work at the Captain Bird Center of Excellence. We're putting in lights. That is being done as I speak. The contract was signed and the work has actually started. After which we'll put in some seats. We're looking at putting in maybe 1,500 seats. And of course, like I've said, the lighting is being done right now
Oh, so the lighting at the Captain Horaceburgh Center is being done right now. So by
as we
next year,
speak. Yeah.
we should be well. Okay, we should have light at the
So
facility.
much so that the facility will be we might not be able to use the facility for maybe the first month or so at the start of the premiership.
Oh, and that start on the 15th of
It is
January.
scheduled to, it is scheduled to start on the 15th.
So like you're not sure it's going to start on the 15th. What will move
Well,
that?
yes, that's the date. That's the date we have in mind.
Okay. All right. I'm going to take. Normally we take questions from the guests. I told them 30 minutes, but let me just take um 5, and then we get back to that line of discussion. This one says, can the president confirm if either any of his functionaries have contacted Mason Greenwood of Manchester United to invite him to apply for citizenship to represent Jamaica?
Mason Greenwood, that's the name.
Yeah, Mason Greenwood.
Well, we had actually put a hold on the number of players, but with a new coach and with direct link with these English-based players, we probably or he probably would want to reopen. But no, we did not have Mason Greenwood under our radar. But certainly, Paul Hall could very well want to do so. We will have a meeting with him. In fact, he met with the technical committee last week. He will meet and actually had a meeting with the board of directors. So we will hear right after the holidays what his plans are in relation to other players.
All right. Okay, because one of the things that I've been frequently asked is many persons believe that as the president, your voice, your call carries weight. And so they want to know how involved you are in terms of um, directly talking to players, not to put them in the team per se, but to say, listen, I am Michael Ricketts, president of Jamaica Football Invitation, and I personally want you, I believe you'd add value to the program. Have you done that? Is that
What would have happened in the past is that we would have had discussions with the technical team, and they would give an indication of the players that they would like. Then I would now get in contact with the players, have discussions with them, find out their loyalty, their commitment, if they really want to represent us. And then we go ahead and sort out their requisite documents, which would include passport and birth certificates and other documents that would make them a legitimate citizen. And of course, um, their availability would be crucial and critical to the process. But yes, I do directly speak with the players after they've been recommended by the technical staff.
okay? So the process is the technical committee recommends players.
Yeah,
All right, then you, the president,
make the direct contact. Yeah,
make direct contact
right.
with the player or the player's agent.
With the player's agent and with the players. Most times we speak to them together, and
Okay,
then the JFF go through the process of having their birth certificate and the passport
okay,
ready.
okay, all right. So let me just ask you this: Mikel Antonio, did you have a conversation like with
I
a Mikel?
probably I probably spoke with Mikhail and his agent longer than I spoke with any of the other players because I remember one Sunday morning we decided that we would have gone through a list of maybe 10 players, including Mikhail Antonio. His agent was very much a part of the discussion, and they were very excited at the prospects. I mean, I recall Mikhail saying that his wife was saying that she needs a Jamaican passport because she wants to enjoy some of the beauty that we have to offer. So he was jokingly saying that, Mr. President, once you get my passport, you have to find a way to get a passport for my wife. But like I have said, we would have had discussions with a number of these players via phone, of course. And then once they have expressed that level of commitment, then we go ahead and have their passports sorted out.
I mean, on these platforms, right? A lot of people keep saying that the English players are not committed. Mikel Antonio is not committed, and they call names, right? I just calling his name. I know it's not the case because we're talking. I mean, when you talk to them, do you get any impression that they're any less committed to the cause that someone born in Jamaica?
No, because I mean these players are professionals, and even if you speak with Paul Hall, immediately you have a discussion with him. He's expressing the highest level of commitment, loyalty to his country. And of course, he's always impressing that he wants to help his country. A number of these players echo the same kind of sentiment that they are loyal, they are committed, they are professionals, and they want to do well. They want to go to the World Cup, they want to take Jamaica to the World Cup. So, at no time at all have I ever gotten that kind of a feeling that these players are not here to give their best.
Right. I'm glad that you say that as a president because, and these are some of the things that people need to know, like from the leadership of the JFF. That listen, in talking to these players, they are as committed to the cause. You understand me? As those born in because they're all Jamaican. But here's someone else asking, why the technical committee insists on not contacting quality players like Kyle Walker Peters, Louis Baker, etc., who have already indicated interest and could definitely
I
be.
don't know. I mean, people can say, but we have not gotten any kind of communication from these players. There are a number, and one must understand that there are a number of players that we would have already gotten in contact with. Whether the coach thought it was prudent to have them selected is another thing. But we have maybe 12, 15 players who are eligible and ready to play. Those names, I mean, and quality can be relative because one person might think a player is better than the other. The other might not think that way. But we do have maybe as many as 15 players, English based players, who have their documents in hand and are actually ready and raring to go. But selection is part of the process. If you're not selected, then there's nothing that the JFF can do.
Okay, I see. So though you can make the initial contact, get all the documents, it is left up to the coach now to select.
Yeah,
So if the coach
that's
don't select
correct.
them,
That's correct.
okay, I see. Because I mean, it is puzzling sometimes because I mean, just for me, sometimes I look and I say like, where was Jamal Lowe at the last game?
That's
But
correct.
whereas Amari Bell been like it's
Yeah,
just as a outsider looking, you wonder
yeah.
where are the players? You're wondering
I
if
mean, Greg Lee, for example, plays in Scotland. Greg Lee, maybe a year ago, went to Saudi Arabia, I think it was, and was very impressive in that game. But he got injured and was not recalled until the last game, I think it was. And he, I think, is a quality player, but his fitness and team selection would have prevented him from representing us. So there are, like I've said, there are a number of players who are legitimately and legally ready to play, but first and foremost, they have to be selected by the coach.
okay.
So let's see what will happen from here on. There is a new coach, and his approach might be a little bit different. So we'll just see what will happen. All we're hoping for is the best, and that at all times we have the best set of players representing the country.
That you believe in that like the best set of players wherever they are born should be on the field at all times.
If you are a Jamaican, I think we should always have the best players on the field.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, you know that you're gonna ask the biggest question out there. Even if all 11 of them are from are born in England, they are Jamaican, all 11. If they are the best 11, they must be on the field.
I that would be from my own perspective. I think that once you qualify, and the truth is, we will definitely, and we don't want to push our local players aside. We definitely must reorganize our development program so that we have um, proper growth and technical competence. We certainly, once these players get to a certain level, then they're going to be offered scholarships and contracts overseas. So we want to ensure that there is an ongoing process that these players are the talents are harnessed, developed, and if we're sending them for scholarships, sending them for contracts, then so be it. When it's time for you to come back and represent the country, then that's left up to the coach.
Okay, so the truth is, let me see if I get this. That at this point, if the best 11 players are from born in the United States or in England, it don't matter. They play. In the meantime, there's need to develop the local football.
Absolutely.
Get the players
That's
to develop.
correct.
All right.
That's
So,
indeed correct.
this person is asking, do you think the head coach of our senior program should be responsible for developing the system of play and implement it like in our clubs and schools, or should he be?
Well,
Is it?
that definitely will be part of Paul Hall's job description, where he must now
Even though
go
it's interim,
around.
because isn't he just an interim, an
Well,
interim?
for he has been, his contract says until the end of the World Cup qualifiers, but certainly we'll be looking to sign beyond, because when you look at his CV, he could really be of some worth and value, along with some of our local persons, Downswell, Speed, to try and develop our coaches. And that has been one of our weak areas. And we're certainly working on that. As we speak, there is a workshop at the Captain Bird Center of Excellence where we're training some coaches so that they can train other coaches as we try to strengthen um, both our technical and administrative competence.
Okay, so it is possible, regardless of what happens in the campaign, that Paul Hall could be the long-term um, coach. That possibility.
That's definitely where our thought processes are right now.
The
And we
question
have
I
had
want to ask is
extensive
that.
discussions with him, and he's raring to go. He wants to help. He has the capacity and the competence and the skill to help us to develop our coaches.
So the other question is, I mean, can we afford to pay him? Because you'd have to give up
Well,
the suspect at Queens Park and
he has agreed. He has agreed to a pay contract already, and I don't
also.
think it's going to cost us too much, because our previous coach was tangibly remunerated. So I don't think it's going to cost us too much.
Okay. So I mean, so a couple of things. If he's given the job at the end of the campaign, number one, would he then have to be in Jamaica, which means you'd have to give up his job at Queens Park, or he'll still be able to keep
Well,
both?
he has advised us that that will be taken care of. He has a deep interest and the highest level of commitment to our national programs, and he really wants to help our young coaches. In fact, as we speak, he's putting a plan and an itinerary in place to go around to help for the restart of football in the parishes. So we really want to strengthen the coaches, strengthen the parishes, strengthen the administration from the grassroots level. And
That's
he
so
will
like,
definitely play an integral part in that process.
yeah. So we can expect that. I mean, whatever the previous coach was earning, Mr. Hall will probably get similar to that, or a little above that, or three times
Yeah, it
that,
is fair to say it
or
is
ten
fair to
times that.
say that it is fair and correct to say that it won't cost us too much.
It will cost you too much.
No.
Too much for an organization that we hear from Mr. Speed. We have money to pay our coaches, 'Cause too much, I mean, too much is very relative, you know. Too much could be 5 million a month, too much could be
No,
500,000.
and I tell you, we have taken on two new coaches, and I'm
Oh
just
yeah,
very hopeful, just very hopeful. Had a long discussion with
that is Finn
Vin
Blaine
Blaine,
and Paul Hall.
Vin Blaine and Paul Hall, and both gentlemen are seriously committed to reorganizing and rebuilding our programs.
Okay, so do you think though, like when the GFF made these things, like stuff like this, just for the purpose of transparency, so because it was out there in the public domain what Whitmore was getting, like, just to let the people kind of get an understanding and appreciate that like a Paul Hall salary and the arrangement with his um agreement should be share with the public for this reason. One, so that people can appreciate the sacrifice that he's making, and two, people can better understand that there's an openness now with the JFF, because you know what going to happen. Everybody going to start digging and diving in all different places and things. So should there be a forum where information like that is readily shared, just to
Well,
create transparency
well, I
with the
don't know, and there we must offer him some kind of a protection in this regard. I mean, if he's fine with making his remuneration package public, then that's okay with us. But what I can tell you is that he's extremely reasonable, easy to talk with, um, easy to negotiate with. And in fact, both gentlemen, both Vin Blaine and Paul Hall, have expressed the desire to help, and both have made it very clear that they are not here for the money. In fact, Vin Blaine told me that what he is accepting from us is less than what he was getting from his previous employees. And probably the same could be said of Paul Hall. But both gentlemen have expressed the highest levels of commitment, and we are just hopeful that this will translate to some success on the field so that we could very well qualify for both global tournaments at the senior level of the Reggae Boys and the Reggae Girls. Going to be a challenge, but we still want to give it our best shot. Still do have a chance with the boys. And once we can execute, once some breaks come our way, we could very well qualify. But we want to give it the best shot. Paul will certainly be pulling out all the stops to ensure that we execute on the field. And like I've said, we are still hopeful that we could make it to Qatar.
All right, so I'm going to take a couple more questions, right? I mean, because there are so many. I tell you that you're a much sought after person, you know. This one is asking about Demari Gray, who had some interest in representing.
Well,
Um,
what I can tell you about the migrant is that we had actually started the process. Um, we could very well be almost there now. He was very much under the radar, and his papers are being processed.
okay, wow, the papers are being processed because this
Yeah,
person is saying that there was some problem with some father information and things.
yeah,
So
yeah, yes. There were some issues, and just like Andre Gray, he had some issues with his um, some logistics that he really had to get sorted out. Gray Andre was done, so we're still working on the Mario. A little bit of issue, but I really need to find out how far we are in terms of of, of getting his documentation. But we've been working on the Mario Gray.
is there anyone, I mean, that in the present that we have been working on? Um, because we have
We
some very critical areas, like holding midfield is one area that needs to be filled. And Mr. Speed made mention of it in the next program as well. And the winger area, which Gray would cover, but in midfield, in the holding midfield position, there is a need right there. Is there
well
anyone?
we have in our possession documentation for a guy Cousins and Stewart. We would have gotten their documentation in hand. So they are ready. Let's see what the coaches have to say about that. But
Okay.
Stewart and Cousins,
So okay, so they're already as midfielders. Okay.
yeah, man, their papers were sorted out.
Okay, from before, so they were just not called.
They were just not called.
Okay. Whoa. Okay. Well, that's good to know, because I think Damari Gray would add serious value to the program at this time and stuff. Listen, last week we had a program, and one of the board members called in, or we called one of the board members who was making mention that there was some illegal stuff, and constitutionally the sacking of the former coach, it was unconstitutional, and you were not on legal footing. And there was going to be a meeting on Saturday. He said that he would disclose more information after the meeting, because it would have been it was going to be hell and powder box at the board meeting. So, were you constitutional in your decision to
Of
release?
course, of course. I mean, we just make crazy comments sometimes. The officer core of the federation represents the board, and it was ventilated, and there are no issues. The officer core represent the board of directors, so we make decisions and later on have them ratified by the board. So I mean, we just trying to be sometimes make frivolous and unfounded comments, which just give rise to how we are as a people. I mean, you are part of an organization, and would expect that you be respectful in how you conduct yourself. But like I've said, it was discussed at the meeting, and the consensus is, in fact, that the officer core of the federation makes decision on behalf of the board of directors. So that has been laid to rest.
Okay, so it was constitutional. You were on legal ground, and so you are okay, because based on what, like I said, I'm glad that that happened, because we just came out a major one. I think we had some issues with the last I think it was Winifred Schaefer, the last transition. So I'm glad to know that this is not the case here. Uh, okay, so how are we? I mean, we have a game coming up against Peru on the 20th, and then I mean some of the players are not there. Are we going to now tap into the local league, or other players are out there? Will the game still be on, or will Mr. Hall
The
meet
game
with
is
somebody?
on. The game is on. We play Peru on January 20 in Peru. I know that Paul Hall and his assistant and members of the technical committee are looking at the list of players and, of course, the team manager, the list of players that would be available. I'm pretty certain that he'd want to look at some local young players, but he will name that squad very soon. But I know they're looking at the available players as we speak to make a final selection, which will be made public very soon.
Okay, okay. It must be a very difficult task. One, because here it is that you know um you have a new coach coming in, and one set of your players can't make it because it's not a window. He wants to look at players. Players are called up, they're not available. But at the back end, if some of these players are then not selected, it creates an uproar within the system. As a president, how do you manage those things? I mean, what role do you play now in terms of
You know, I
community?
I really don't get involved in team selections. We have a technical committee with a very competent chairperson in Mr. Speed, and we have a director of football, Mr. Downswell, and we have a head coach and we have a team manager. They take care of technical matters. They would be far more au fait with all the logistics and the details than I am. So I really don't get involved. If there are side issues, then the federation would get involved. But as it relates to team selection, we try as best as possible not to get involved.
Okay, okay, I see that, and that's very important. I guess, are you on the World Cup front, because there are so many things we're trying to cover. The government has there is a bulletin information out there that no fans will be allowed in January again. Are you trying
No,
to?
no, no. I don't think that's a fact. No.
Okay,
Um, we are still, in fact, we're trying to get the numbers increased. That may not happen, but we are still trying. And but if it's even that original number, I think that will get that number. But we're trying to have um, an increase in terms of numbers. So that's what we're waiting on right
okay. So you're in dialogue to move it from the 5,000, hopefully
now.
upward.
Right, right,
All right.
correct.
And all player salaries, because I don't hear anything. I don't hear any player complaining about not being paid. I mean,
Well,
yeah.
we like I've said, and I want to reiterate that we would have tried our best to give as much support to this World Cup campaign and to the Gold Cup campaign. We first and foremost we tried and we were successful in negotiating contractual arrangements. Then, of course, everything that was asked of the federation, we tried our best and we supplied what the demands were. So again, I'm saying that we haven't invested so heavily in both the Gold Cup and World Cup qualifiers. I think we have underachieved, and we still have a lot of catching up to do, and we are hopeful, desperately hopeful, that we can get things right, execute well, the breaks come our way, and we could still qualify for Qatar.
Okay. All right. So that's good. Now the other big question is, and that's very good. That one thing I'm glad about is that I don't hear anything about players not being paid, and I know no contracts have to be signed, and so that's good. We get that out of the way. It is still possible, though it's very difficult to qualify. But when in retrospect, though the coach has been fired, ultimately, um, he's not the only one responsible. All right. We could look at errors in the administration, errors with the technical committee. In the same way that he has lost his job, has has the leadership of the JFF challenged are held accountable without probably firing, but held accountable the everybody who was responsible for the campaign, including probably you, Mr. President. You know,
Well, the truth is that, and I'm saying that we're not infallible.
yeah.
We have made mistakes, and I've always said that um, we'll make mistakes, but what you need to ensure is that you do not continuously make the same mistakes. I think that this federation would have given tremendous support to the technical staff. Um, I am not saying it is a failed attempt because we still have 6 games to go. If we do well, we still could qualify. But if in the event that we do not qualify, we just, and let me say this, there are 211 countries that make up FIFA, and 133 of these 211 have never qualified for a global tournament. Jamaica, with is very limited resources, have qualified for 2 under 17s, 1 under 20, one senior men's, one senior women's tournament. And this is not that we are gloating about this, but when we look at the resources we have, if you ever were to go to Costa Rica or Panama or Mexico or even some of our Caribbean countries, and to see the level of support that they would have gotten from private sector and from government. I mean, we don't even own a piece of property for ourselves. I mean, Guyana has its own, Barbados has its own, Trinidad. Government would have given them lands, properties, stadium for themselves. I mean, we are struggling, still negotiating, and we are still hoping that very soon we will have some kind of a facility for ourselves where we can say this belongs to us and we can move forward, we can put things in place. And I think that this federation has done well with its limited resources from a structural standpoint, from a financial standpoint. And of course, we want to reach out and to socially touch the lives of every single Jamaican. We need to understand the social impact that qualifying for the World Cup would have on this nation. And a number of us obviously don't understand the positive social impact that qualifying for Qatar would have on this nation.
All right, so I'm going to take some more questions from the panel. I have one of the screen. It says, with all the necessary resources that were provided for the farm coach Theodore Whitmore, he failed at the Gold Cup. Why wasn't he fired then? Why wait so long until you're in the middle of the campaign? What were the factors?
Because we really thought, and that's why we strengthened our technical staff. And we thought that having not qualified for the Gold Cup, and we really would have done better at the World Cup qualifiers. And it just did not work out. The board of directors, and it was after we summoned our technical committee and instructed them to have a review of the entire program done. When the report was presented, then we thought that it was time for us to take some action. I see West Indies Cricket is doing the same thing. I mean, they have asked for an overall of their coaching staff. So you really need to give these coaches an opportunity to prove their worth. Some people might think it was far too delayed. Some think it's the right time. Some people think he should not have been dismissed. We are going to have different thoughts, different ideas, different opinions, different suggestions. But it was based on the timing of the report, the summon that was given to the technical committee to do a review of the program. And after the report, we thought that we really need to do something.
All right. I know earlier you mentioned that there were I think 16 players. So someone just sent in a text saying, can the president disclose the names of the 15 players who have their documentation and are ready and waiting on selection?
I couldn't do that on the top of my head, but I know some names would come to mind, like the two cousins. I know Curtis Tilt would have been one of them. I mean, Harding. And of course, those that are presented, Gray, um, Grant.
So what you were referring to were players from almost all over.
Total of yeah.
Okay.
But I could give you the names and numbers, the exact numbers. But
So what you're saying really was that in total, up to this point, there are 16.
Just about. Don't hold me to the number.
Yeah,
but
man.
thereabout. But I could do a detailed check and give you the information.
And then after that, now you are, you mentioned Demari Gray, which should not be a part of that.
No, he would not have been.
All right. Are there any other outside of Demari Gray who would not have had any recent contact with some of the players in the Premier League? I mean, there are so many players who are playing in the top flight in the Premier League right now. Who
I depend on information from people in the know because I don't know all these players, and there are some persons that always send me some information about players and players who could qualify and stuff like that. But I could not just arbitrarily invite these players. So we discuss them with the coaching staff. What we'll do now is to have some discussions with Paul Hall. At this stage, I don't know how we'd want to treat the whole thing, but we'll definitely discuss with him and see where his thought process is. Whether he thinks it's late or it's not late or it's necessary, we just have to hear from the coach, his own perspective on all of this.
So Paul, okay, so in your discussions with him, uh, did you get any impression that there are other players that he may want to look at that may not have been on you have not made contact with or not on your radar?
Yeah, and Paul would know these players well. And what we have decided to do is to put a kind of a selection panel in place, um, that they would, and this would include Joel, Speed, the team manager, the coach, and others, to look at players at all levels, whether it be under 17, under 20, under 23, or seniors, all around the globe, and to make recommendations and to look at these players. And of course, if the final decision is yes, we think that this player is good enough, then we would go for him or her, because we're doing the same thing for our female program.
All right. Duklan is asking, do you feel the federation has been reasonably supported by the government of Jamaica?
Reasonable. I'm going to leave you all to make that determination. I wouldn't comment on that publicly, but I'm going to leave you to make your own assessment and to probably tell me what you think. But I am not going to comment on that right
Okay. Okay, so let me go back to the right. Go back to the player issue. I understand what you're saying about Paul Hall, right? He has the primary responsibility of probably saying this player is out there, that player is out there. But over time on these forums, I mean, even with I know in talking to Mr. Speed, names have been suggested to him of players in the Premier League. I know there was one interview that he did where Lewis Baker, a former Chelsea player or a Chelsea player still, he is Isaac Hayden was brought up. Kyle Walker Peters was brought up. The Dwight McNeil. These names were suggested. No, the truth is I don't know that they said or they have suggested that they want to play for Jamaica. But what people want to know, have some of these players at least been asked, would you be interested in representing Jamaica?
now. We have an agent in England, Winston Clark, and he was tasked with the responsibility of getting in contact with these players initially. And I know for sure that some of them would, they probably would not definitively say no, but their lack of interest and the lack of responses would suggest that they probably would not be interested. And I know that some of these players actually acted that way. That he would call them, have a discussion with them, they say, all right, I'll get back to you. We try calling again, no responses. Um, that kind of thing. A few of these players would have done that. And I think that would have been based on the fact that some of them were still expecting a England call up. So they were virtually stalling um, our negotiations, hoping that they would get a call up from England. But like I've said, there are some persons who they seem to know these players that they fingers tip. They can tell you everything. And some of them actually send these names to me, send these players to me. Then I would transfer the information to Winston, who would sometimes respond to say that I have tried, it doesn't seem as if this player is interested. If the player really is interested, like Antonio Willis was from day one, then you would pursue with some level of urgency. But when players are hesitant and reluctant, then You just don't want to impose yourself on them. But like I've said, now that Paul is probably more knowledgeable of all of these players than all of us, then we could take a different approach. And maybe, just maybe, they would respond to him differently. He being England based and now coaching us, they could probably be a little more responsive. So let us take it from here, even if it's not for this World Cup campaign, then certainly the Gold Cup will come up in 2 years' time. And then the next cycle, and of course the girls, because let's not leave the girls out of the picture. In fact, I have a meeting next week with the Marley Foundation and the Reggae Girls Foundation, just to reorganize and to restart the women's program. I honestly think that we have some quality from the fairer sex, and I think that they are going to do very well.
Okay. All right. Now, I believe so. I could see our young ladies coming out of the the group stages. That's the kind of hope that I have of them. Um, and all right. So let me ask this one: what arrangement did the JFF put in place for local fans to attend away matches where fans were permitted? What happened? The tickets. What happened to the tickets um that were allocated to away federation? Because there were people um in Jamaica who wanted to travel to the games overseas.
No, we tried. We had a chartered flight, and there were seats available.
What?
Um, when we went to Mexico, I don't think spectators.
No, that was
Oh,
right.
they were under sanctions, so we could not have
Right.
taken to Mexico.
But
But
but but
um,
USA,
the
um,
USA, yeah,
Costa Rica, I think we had fans.
and I
Europe,
mean, anybody could contact the JFF and make inquiries. We did make it
yeah.
public,
With no, well,
and
we didn't need it because I know persons who wanted to go, wanted to get tickets, and they were wondering if they could travel on the chartered flight if you had space and even pay, which would probably be monies at the
yeah,
moment.
and we did make that kind of an arrangement. In fact, that was the whole idea. And Bruce Gaynor has responsibility, has portfolio responsibility for organizing these events. We're trying to get people
To
on
travel.
board. Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah.
didn't know that. So you're saying what this
But
means
with
is
all the COVID restrictions, it was kind of iffy because I mean, for example, the issues we encountered when we went to Costa Rica, um, you just never thought that was likely. So COVID would have put a damper on all of these arrangements. Not so sure what with this fourth wave, what will happen when we go to Canada in March or or Panama, I
yeah.
think late in January.
So
But
if
we
so
would
what
love to have supporters with us. We
so what
played.
you can do is call, and when they call the JFF office, who should they ask to speak to about like this particular food, or can they speak to anyone at all, or is there a
Well,
specific
well, well, well. Like I said, Vice President Gaynor would be the person. That's part of his portfolio responsibility. So he would need to give instructions to probably the accounting department to make these arrangements. So if you call and you speak with accounts, ask to speak with accounts, they would be the department that would um, make these necessary arrangements.
All right. The other question is, I know that Mr. Winston Clark is one of the primary persons out there in England, but why do we? Is it that we have to use one person? Because I know there are other persons who no players as well, and they can make is it that you want to streamline it to one person? For example, there is a Devon Porter who I've heard said that a stopped and desist order, basically a gag order, was put on him.
No,
Um,
no. What happened is that, and I am aware of that situation. Mr. Porter, I think, had. We wanted to make it very clear that if you are representing the JFF, then we must have some kind of arrangement, and probably not a legal document, but at least some kind of a permit. We were getting queries from parties overseas that Mr. Porter is an official representative of the JFF, when in fact he wasn't.
right.
With all good intentions, and he is one person that you can feel the loyalty and the commitment when you speak to him. He really wants to help, but again, we have to be careful. And what we probably need to do later on is to probably have a formal discussion with maybe a few other persons who we would have over the years um, learned to trust and have some confidence in. Because I'm saying again that you just have to be careful because some person's intentions aren't very pure. So you need to be absolutely sure that the persons that you're going to give permission to speak on behalf of the federation are genuine. And honestly, I think Porter would be one of those persons, and he's been around for a while, but we
Yeah.
have not had a formal arrangement with him. So we still have to be, uh, like I say, forthright and strident, but respectful in how we operate. But this is something that we'll definitely look at because I know that there are some persons who are extremely knowledgeable. It's like they study the movements and connections of these players. And a number of them, like I've said, have been in contact with me. We probably just need to formalize the process.
Formalize this process. Okay, someone was asking, and I think this is a question for the technical committee, but I'll just throw it at you nonetheless. They say that why when there are coaching courses, the information is private, and the only time you hear about it is when like afterwards, like what you just said that there is this coaching thing going on right now. Why
No,
wasn't it?
that's extremely unfair. Every parish association, every single parish association would have been made aware. And if you are a coach operating, then you must come under the jurisdiction of one of these parish associations. So, for example, this is a C licensing course, and every single person that is there was recommended by the respective parish associations. So it's not a fair comment, and it couldn't be a secret. We work closely with our member associations. So there's a informal coaches association, and we go through the coaches association, we go through the parish associations, and they make the recommendations. So if you have been left behind and you want to attend one of these courses, you must speak to your parish president. So you go to the office, make your intentions known, and they would have some information for you. Then, if and when the course comes up, then they will get in contact with you. But we try as best as possible to incorporate our member associations so that they can make the recommendations when these courses come up.
Okay, and on that same note, Roderick is asking what are the plans set for our local coaching to improve our football for the future?
Well, I did say that at the start that Paul Hall, Speed, and those. In fact, we started. We had a presentation in St. Catherine last Sunday where we are trying to get coaches and administrators ready for the restart. But like I have said, we have a C licensing course going on as we speak. A gentleman from CONCACAF, Alvin Cornell, I think his name is conducting the course, of course, with some of our local presenters. We want to ensure, and if we don't improve our coaches, then we're not going to improve our players. And it's very important. And I have said, and I want to reiterate that Paul Hall certainly going to play a very, very integral role in developing our coaches. So we will definitely be going around the parishes. Um, Speed and Downswell will be part of this group that will be, and right now we are training some coaches that will train other coaches. I think there are 11 of them at the course right now, and they will be tasked with the responsibility of coaching some of these young coaches. We are very aware, and whoever Roderick is his question is indeed fundamental to the growth and development of the quality of our players and our technical persons. We are very aware, gentlemen.
Yeah. All right. This is Eddie Guna from Sports Down the Middle, and he says, "Mr. President, good morning. What's the status on possible sponsorship, and how is the marketing consultant working out?" I know you answered that earlier about your restructuring, but go ahead and just for the
Yeah,
purpose.
we had a board meeting on Saturday, and that was very topical. We must strengthen our marketing arm. And I tell you, we are at an advanced stage negotiating um, with an international company that will certainly make a difference to football. Like I've said, we are in an advanced stage, and this is where we are trying to go now to see how best we can get some international, some overseas investors, some overseas sponsors. We have a team that is working in this regard, and I'm saying again that we are in an advanced stage of signing a contract with the overseas entity that will certainly change the landscape of football in this country. Uh, we are aware of the kind of austerity that exists right now in relation to sponsorship and investors coming into sport. This, of course, because of the COVID pandemic. But we just can't give up. We can't relent. We are working hard. We are trying to explore every avenue. And I can tell you, there is some light on the horizon.
All right. So we're looking forward to hearing about those things in January. What we also want to know in January is that given that the process of getting your citizenship and passport is can take like 3 weeks, can we be confident that come January 27th against Mexico, Coach Paul Hall will have Demari Gray as one of the persons that he can select from his pool?
I am not sure I can answer that, but I know for sure. In fact, I personally had discussion with the marriage agent, and he did express a level of expectancy and hope. I must probably, in fact, I have not spoken to my department on this in a little while, but now that the topic has resurfaced, I will do so very soon, and will give you an update in this regard.
Yeah, we'd love that because we are deprived of excellent wingers, and he's really on fire in the Premier League. So we'd love to
Yeah,
see.
and I mean, if you, and especially with Leon's injury now, I mean, I am just very sympathetic to Leon because he has not been able to give up his best because he seems to be carrying this niggling injury. Hopefully, by the time the Mexico game comes around, he will be fit and ready. I'm not sure what his status is from a health perspective there. But I know that Demari Gray could really positively impact our offensive third. And if you had Demari on one side and Antonio dead center forward, then we could be extremely clinical in front of the goal. But I'm going to speak with him, and Mr. Senate, you can give me 2 or 3 days and call me back on this and have a
With
discussion with Coach Paul Hall immediately after this conversation, and
awesome.
then to see, and then to see what's the status of the marriage
And
race.
I'd say if you could just, I mean, I don't know, just because maybe you don't know, bring to his attention the Kyle Walker Peters and the Lewis Baker, because those are two players that could aid the process. You know, we can text the information, just to make sure. I mean, we're not telling the federation what to do. We're not telling the coach what to do, but we have persons. We have persons out here in the space on the YouTube. They have database. I mean,
Yeah,
they
man,
have
I know that. I know. I see it.
oh, you have seen the database.
Yeah, man. I see some persons, like I say, I mean, they have all the information, and some of them are in a group that I'm in, and they send me the information sometimes.
There you go. All right. So I see Tyrese Beckford asking, Mr. President, how much emphasis is placed on media and communication? Um, why isn't
Well, I think we have done a pretty decent job of that. We have an in-house media person, Earl Bailey, and he'll be tasked with the responsibility of getting information out, and of course, having connections with the respective media
this is one of
houses.
the things I'm going to have to like one of the challenges I have is I don't think that the public is informed enough. I'll give you an example. I did not know that you could persons it was available to person to travel to the games. I didn't know that. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
That kind of
well, yeah, well, like I said, Earl Bailey is our media person. He's an employed media person with portfolio responsibilities similar to what the questions were. So yeah, we have put a media person in place to ensure that the information is disseminated in a timely and effective manner.
but can there be a press conference like every like like how should we all right, how often can we expect press conferences?
Well, I don't know if we could say set a specific day and time for press conferences. What I know is that there were two recent press conferences introducing both newly appointed head coaches to the respective media personnel. So there was one with Paul Hall, which I listened to. I wasn't physically a part of it, but I listened to the questions and the answers and the queries and the comments. And there was also one for Vinblade. So these are the things that we really need to improve on, to be honest. And we probably just and honestly, I welcome these questions because I'm learning from some of these questions. Because what you would have said no is obviously something that we need to improve on. So we definitely need to speak with our media department and try and improve how we get information disseminated, how we get information to the wider public.
All right, Paul Moret is asking, how do we improve logistics as it pertains to coordinating travel, ensuring that appropriate documents are processed, and establishing a liaison to ensure players are correctly informed? Because I think we have had a couple of mishaps on this campaign, which I think would have probably affected us a little. And this is it. Listen, go ahead.
I am saying again that we are humans, not infallible at all. So we of course would have made some mistakes, and some of them would have been driven by this COVID pandemic, because sometimes you are being incorrectly advised. The travel agency might tell you one thing, then when you go to the country, it's a different thing. But it's part of a learning process, and COVID obviously will be around for a very long time. So we just want to use the opportunity to ensure that we, as best as possible, ensure that we get things right. And I must implore um, the JFF, its staff members, it has to be best practices going forward. If we don't get things right, then we're always going to be faced with a great number of challenges. So, of course, we will make adjustments, we will make changes, but then we must understand that fundamentally, affordability is sometimes an issue. If we were in a position to afford um, everything, then certainly we'll get most things right. But I appreciate the question, I appreciate the comment, and like I said, this interview is certainly part of a learning process for me.
Let me ask you because we have a few more minutes and then we're going to release you. I have been speaking to many past players, right? And they themselves have expressed the difficulty in even getting their kids to get a look in who are footballers. Is there a a organized, systematic way for persons in the diaspora, not just in the UK but in the Americas or in other places in Europe, to contact the JFF, present information on a footballer that they may have? Who is that person that the conversation should be directed to within the federation? What is the system?
Well, certainly it has to be the chairman of the technical committee, Speed. If it is not Speed, then it has to be the director of football, which is Downswell. So those would be the two names. And
This
the
is
truth is
this is
that
Wendell Downswell. So let me stop and ask you that. All right. When last has Mr. Wendell Downswell, man who I respect highly because he was my first coach, when last has he been in the media?
well, certainly I wouldn't be able to answer that question. But
It
what
can,
I can say of him,
what
what
I
I
said
can
was
say,
that I don't think the question can be answered because he shies away from the media. You can't be in that. And this is somebody that I respect highly. Like he's is he accessible? Can someone
I think so. And I mean, he's somebody that is affable, for want of a better word, somebody with whom you can have a discussion. And I'm saying to you that, I mean, even if he doesn't want to come on here and you want to drive to the offices of the JFF, I am permitting you to do so.
No,
To
I'm not talking. No, man, I'm not talking about me. I'm just talking like that person who lives in Alaska, who has a son. The father go up there, get Jamaicans are go up Alaska, get somebody pregnant, and the youth can play some ball, and the son one they want come represent Jamaica, right? Um, he if he can't find me, how does that information get to the JFF?
Well, if you get to the JFF, then you can speak to Downswell, you can speak to Speed, or probably you can speak to the team manager. But those will be the three key persons. And in order of preference, it will be Speed first, Downswell second,
Well,
and then the team manager.
all right, people, you hear that? So because remember these numbers are not just numbers, random numbers out there. So when someone calls the JFF office and say, I stop calling Joe Brown. I am Charlie Smith. All right. I would like to speak to Mr. Speed or Mr. Downswell about a footballer. That person gets to speak to them because it's a process I'm talking about, which I think is very important.
Yeah,
That
and we probably need to formalize the process.
there you go. That's what we're talking about. Is
We,
the
we,
process
we,
formalized?
yeah, we need to formalize the process because we could very well be missing some real talents if we don't go this route. And this is something that I will certainly discuss with the relevant persons, and they certainly would be speed down as well. Maybe we could involve the coaches as well.
Yeah.
And then we, like I said, try and formalize the process so we
This
know
is
exactly what to do in the event that we know of
listen
a
to what this
player
person
who
is
has
saying.
qualified.
Listen to this person. It says, management, they need to have a mechanism in place for this. Maybe on their website and our social media platform. Because calling someone sometimes is not the answer because people are so, you understand me, so busy and it's so hard. And you just said it. We could be missing out on some talent, especially in, I think, like it's easier to get the talent out of England because now the coach is there. But in the Americas, there are many kids in New York, in Atlanta, in Washington, in Dallas, in just all over East Coast, West Coast, Alabama, and the South, everywhere. And they don't know. Oh, I'm talking male and female.
Yeah,
One, one of the tallest 16-year-old playing football in America now as a center forward is a Jamaican. Well, can represent Jamaica,
male or female.
female.
Okay.
And somebody's reaching out to me on an Instagram platform. Marky, I want to help, But I'm saying because they were trying to make contact with the federation, but there's no direct area to do
And
it.
again, I'm going to say that this is an area that we really need to put in place a process. We need to formalize a process of um, getting information in relation to players who are eligible, quality players who are eligible to play. We could be, and I've said it again, I've said it already, I'm going to say it again, that we could very well be missing out on some talents, maybe especially at the youth level. And if we can connect with some of these young players at age 17 and 18, then they would grow and become a part of the program. That when you become good enough at the senior level, then we don't have to go chasing for you. It's something that we really need to look at, and I promise you that I'll give some attention.
Would love that. And you know that we're gonna hold you accountable to this one, because
Please do, please do, please
here's the
do.
because this ties into this, right? Ask the president why don't they put a system in place to get these young talent in the UK, a player like Dwight McNeil with over 100 Premier League games. We have enough talent in the United Kingdom, in the UK. And the point I think people are making is a lot of these people could have played youth 17 and youth 20 for Jamaica. You understand me? Possibly. I'm not saying that all of them, but possibly
Right.
if we had a system in place, like let's use Ricardo Fuller and Ricardo Gardner, or let's former Leicester captain Wes Morgan. Say Wes Morgan has a son who is 14 and he's in an academy. We should have a system that we have him from now. That means when he gets to 20, as an example, and he's at Manchester United, we are already aware of the player. But a lot of people don't know, where do I go
All
to
right. Yeah, I agree. Not that we're going to get all of them because some of them going to say, no, we're not interested. We'd rather stay in England. But some of them could very well be interested. I'm still saying that when you have these youngsters grow in your program, then when they become adult, it becomes a given that they're going to represent you.
yeah. So that's what we're saying. So hopefully
And I'm
now.
agreeing. I'm agreeing 100%.
Right. Well, I must admit, I am glad that you're admitting that you guys are not getting it right on many things, and you hope to improve, because that's
I
the
don't
best
think
thing.
it's fair to say on many things, but on some things.
And something. Right. Let's
Yes.
put that. That's true.
Yes.
Let's start that. This person says the JFF has come in for a lot of criticism for how it generally operates. Do you agree with much of these criticism? Assess them internally, and how do you respond to them, or do you just ignore them?
No, I am quite an ordinary person who would want to listen to constructive criticism. Some persons just criticize because I am Michael Ricketts, and some persons just give me a hard time because I'm Michael Ricketts. some things are just not fair. A number of them are not fair. But at the same time, there are some that, and I was thinking this morning that there are some persons who would call me even from media houses and to have a discussion with me and to say, "Well, President, I like this. I think that is good, but I don't think that is correct, and I would love for you to change." I appreciate that. In fact, I remember some months ago, I made it public. I did set aside some days that persons could come in and discuss their thoughts and their ideas with me. But a number of persons are just out and out critical for no reason at all. And I try not to pay attention to negative talks. I have no issue if people have genuine concerns. And I am happy now that I am actually on this program where I'm getting um, some questions and some queries that are of real value. So I will definitely listen to those I think are genuine and could help, but those I think are frivolous and unwarranted. And there are some people that just come up with innuendos and unfounded stories that have no basis, so to speak. But I am one of those persons who is willing to listen to even the dumb and the ignorant because some persons might just come up with something that could be of great value. Some persons just criticize because they want to criticize and they think that it's Michael Ricketts and he ought not to be the JFF president, so I'm just going to give him a hard time. But that's how life is. And I'm going to say this again. Jesus Christ never did anything wrong and he was crucified. So who am I that I can't be criticized? I just want to stay strong. I want to have persons around me who can give me direction. I want to have persons around me with whom I can have consultation. I want to have persons around me who are fair and strident in whatever they think and whatever they do. I hope that answers the question.
Well said. I leave the people to judge, because I know how that is. You're going to be criticized whether you do or you don't. But I think a lot of people are glad, Mr. President, that you are on this platform. One, because people believe that talking to the hierarchy of the JFF is a difficult thing.
No,
And so,
it is not difficult. It is not at all. Like I say, I grew up like an ordinary person. Walked to primary school. In fact, I am from Maple. I went to Denver Primary School, then I went to Glenville High School. I worked with government for all of my life. So I am an ordinary person. No taxi took me to school. I mean, no helper prepared my clothes. I had to do all of that myself. So I understand the true value of having to struggle to achieve. And you said this morning in your opening comments that we must show love for people and we must show love to our creator. And if we don't love ourselves, we're not going to love people. And I just thought, and I was saying to my friend not so long ago, that when God bless us, we must bless people. If we don't do that, we're going to lose our blessing. And you would know the number of things I am planning now to try and help persons throughout this festive season. We must share. We must be strong mentally. We must show love. We must show people respect. And like I said, I grew up as an ordinary person, so I have so much to give thanks for.
amen, amen. Well said, well said. I'm going to release you because I know you have a lot to do. But Jason, why isn't the JFF YouTube channel more utilized? Also, why isn't the JFF invested in creating official licensed products, which could be a good source of income? I should be able to have all a hat, sunglasses. You understand me? A reggae boy scarf or a reggae
I am
girl.
saying, and I am saying to you and all your listeners, just listen out. Give me a few more months, Just give me a few more
We
months.
have to be more specific, Let me
We are on track. All of this,
let me
all
tell
of
you two
these.
words people two words I don't like people use: few and soon. Because one, when Jesus said a few, it turned into 5,000 people being fed. When he said coming soon, he has not returned yet. I
That's a
don't like
relative term. That's a relative term. Soon could mean, but give me until summer of 2022, and
summer.
football
Hear
in
you.
Jamaica won't be different.
Hear that, people? Summer 2022. All right.
And
So
please, please, please make a note of that today, the 20, is it the 20th or the 21st, that the president of the federation said so. Keep the date in mind,
keep it.
and I would, and you, Mr. Stennett, I'm
Yes.
sure that you will remind me.
Definitely.
Okay.
Right. I see. Please, they're asking, right, to please to reach out to Mason Greenwood, his agent and his father, for the sake of qualification. Give us a commitment that you will try. That is all.
I will speak with Paul Hall. I send him a message right now the moment I get off this platform. I send him a note right now, and then I'm pretty certain that we'll speak on it later on.
Yeah. And I hope, I really hope that you having done this will one give people a different impression that that they will also reach out to you when they hear stuff and say, Mr. Ricketts, you understand me? Can you
And
speak?
I
You
am
know,
saying that I am not always at the office of the JFF, but I'm still making myself available. If there's anybody, just let me know. I will accommodate a discussion. You can physically come in and you can tell me what your thoughts are. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you agree with. Tell me what you don't agree with. I have an open policy and I embrace those persons who really want to help. I have issues with those who are just troublemakers, just want to give us a hard time. But I embrace and I want to express my appreciation and my gratitude to those of you who genuinely want to help the sport. And I've always said that the agenda of this federation is one single item, and it's to grow the sport of football.
yeah. Listen, let me just say, Mr. Ricketts, the amount of questions. People, no, you are going to be gone, It's when you gone now, the people will say, man is money, didn't ask them this, right?
Hmm.
I have not slept in 24 hours, right? But I have to ask you this one question and then I'll let you go. It's about a footballer that I have a lot of time for because I'm in Senton, he's in Senton, and he's doing well in Europe. And I mean, I saw him in Saudi Arabia and I have not seen him again. His name is Kahim Paris. All right.
Yeah, I know the youngster well.
Yes,
Nice person.
yeah.
Nice individual. Nice player from my own um, standpoint. I really don't know. He apparently fell out of favor with Coach Whitmore. But what I've asked Speed and Downville to do is to prepare a whole list for Paul Hall and of course his assistant Maran Gordon. And I am pretty certain that once these players are active and doing well and playing well, that certainly that other opportunities will certainly present themselves. But I know Paris well, know of his capabilities, know that he's a pretty decent player, but not so sure what would have gone so wrong that he was never again.
No, I believe that we can fix it. This guy is on fire. He's scoring goal. His team could be in the Champions League next season. That's how good he's playing. And I mean, he's just a phone call away. I really hope if you cannot, I'm not telling you to get him, I'm just saying that just to make sure that his name is on on
Yeah,
that list.
right.
I mean, his season is on break. No, so whatever. I don't know if he'll be available for the friendly
But
game.
who was he playing locally for?
He was at Cavaliers and then he
Was
moved
that
over. Yeah,
okay? Good.
he was at Dintil. In fact,
Yeah, man.
I think he's the youngest cap player ever for Jamaica.
Right. I know him. I know him well. And if he's a Cavalier player, then they should know.
No, he's not a Cavalier player. He plays he's been in Europe now, but he was
Right.
he was,
But yeah, if he used to play for Cavalier, then Speed would have some contact with him.
yeah. But I mean, we have contact with him, because out here we have contact for all the players. So if they need
Right.
contact, I I can
Okay.
they
Good.
can let him know. But
All right.
yeah, man, I want to thank you for your time. You're gonna have to come back. You understand me? But make sure you have a cup of coffee next time so you can drink. Cause I
And
know.
and and I'm extending an invitation. If you want to come to the office with a few of your dedicated and ardent listeners, I could accommodate a few of you and you come and we talk a little bit.
Yeah, all right. So we're gonna arrange that. So you have to tell us which day. I know you normally there's one day.
Yeah, I try to go in on a Tuesday
So
at least.
One Tuesday we can come up to the
Yeah,
offices of
man.
the.
Yeah, man.
I
Yeah,
mean,
man. No
have some
problem.
nice lunch and all of that. You order
Yes,
some.
man.
Yeah, man.
I promise.
All right, Ryan LFC. You hear that sports down the middle. You hear that coach's desk. You hear that cataract. You hear that. We can make plans to go up by the office. All right.
Yes, man. I promise.
Okay. One person saying that we could do a Zoom call from the office and all of that, but we will do
Yes.
that. You could be a part of it because you'd love to be a part of it, to be a part of the
Okay.
conversation.
Let's
Yeah.
plan that for very, very early in the new year.
All right, vloggers, you hear that? We are going to meet with the president and sit and talk. You're
In
one
fact,
person
in
really
fact,
early.
tentatively, we could look at maybe the second or third Tuesday in the new year.
All right. So if you're ready, people, you let me know and we can work it out. But I mean, thanks to you and to your family for setting up the laptop because you were struggling outside in the vehicle with the phone and somebody with a bigger brain. I know you went to Glenmuir, you understand me, but that person obviously went to Mannings or one of those other schools.
Oh, but I tell you, as you say that, I have an invitation to go to Manning's. I think that I got a call from the
Ever,
Manning's coach yesterday that
Mr.
the
Tom,
past students are planning to do something for the players on Thursday evening, and I was invited. I was invited, so I don't know if you will be there, but I might very well be at Manning's for Thursday evening
I'm going to be incognito, man. Don't worry.
on a different identity.
Yeah. Yeah. But blessings again to you and your family and
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks for having me. It was indeed a pleasure and part of a learning process. And
yeah,
I
man.
really appreciate but the entire exercise this morning was something that I appreciate. Like I said, I would have learned from it. I would have been given an opportunity to share on what's happening internally at the Federation. And of course to get some suggestions, some ideas from some of the persons who would have submitted these questions. So thanks again, and looking forward to personally having a discussion with you.
In
And of course,
Tuesday, the second Tuesday in January. That's it. That's what the date is.
I'm saying the second or third Tuesday. Just look at whichever, and then we can make an arrangement.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, go ahead and thank also because I mean you got a lot of people up out of them bed early. I'm saying, so many of them watching the stream
That
right now.
shows some commitment.
There you go. So go ahead and give your final words to them, and then we'll close.
Well, I again want to express my gratitude. I mean, sometimes I'm hesitant to do these comments just because of of some of the questions are untenable. But I think your questions were reasonable, um, and some quality to the program. And I must say that this morning's exercise was one that I would have learned from. And I mean, if every interview was like this one, then I could do an interview every day because I was in a position to take a number of positives from this. I'm like I have said that we do make mistakes, and when people try to help us to make positive strides, then I must be grateful and I must embrace such persons and such um, questions and comments. So thanks again for having me. Must say thanks to you personally and from me and certainly from the JFF. Thanks again, and to all those persons who participated, I must again express my absolute delight for sharing with you.
Man, thank you so much, Mr. Ricketts. We appreciate it. We know it's not easy work, leading anything, because at the end of the day, everything rises and falls on leadership. So
Uneasy
continue.
is the head that wears the crown.
There you go. There you go. There you go. So we look forward to more conversations with you. Again, enjoy the rest of your day, and we will
And
we will
let me use the opportunity to wish for you and your stakeholders, your supporters, your listeners, a happy Christmas holiday and certainly a most productive New Year.
yeah, man, and just know that we're gonna see if we can drive through the Clarendon, come pick up some of the good old sorrel
Boy, I tell you, it is here now, so just tell me
from
when
you,
you're coming.
from you and Mr. Holmes. All right, all right.
All right, thanks again.
Yeah, man, blessed sir.
Good.
All right, there you have it, people. JFF President Kankakov, CFU Vice President Mr. Michael Ricketts. And sometimes, you don't know until you meet someone. You hear from them and you let them speak. So we look forward to more conversation. I want to thank you for taking your morning to be a part of this. He has opened up an invitation for the second or the third Tuesday in January for us to come and sit and talk with him. All right? Unprecedented. So if you want to be a part of that, I know that Mr. Blake has confirmed and Mr. Minzy has confirmed. And what we can do is that in that meeting, we can do it where we can open a Zoom link to get other persons involved in it so he can interact with us. See, that's what happens when we show respect because people will talk, people will share. All we need to do is to create the space of respect and let them feel respected, and then you get to get information. No one interview could could possibly bring and get all the information. But here's what I know that over time, having conversation, we will learn more and more. I want to thank every single one of you for being here for the 2 hours and 8 minutes we have been here. Please, I mean, hit the like button. At one point, I saw over 100 and odd people and I heard like 40 odd likes. That can't be possible. Like if there's over 100 of us, we need 100 likes. So hit the like button. If you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I want you also to check out these platforms, right? The Formula Sport, Ryan LFC, Unseen Sport, Dre Anyweather, Sports Down the Middle, the Coach's Desk. All of these platforms. There's Reggae Boys commentary. Um, I may be missing out. Dre Anyweather Sports, did I say that? Listen, it doesn't hurt to subscribe to any one platform. You can't don't be a loyal subscriber, be a loyal viewer, but subscribe to all the platforms and support the work that all the vloggers are doing. You may not agree with all that they say, but support their platform and help them to grow. That's what I ask of you. Let that be your gift. Talawa TV, of course, who covers extensively. How can I forget Crystal? who covers extensively Reggae Girls football. Please just subscribe. Show them some love. All right. Reggae Boys commentary as well with Simon Preston. I mean, I may be missing some, but yeah. And so I also want to say a big thank you to our sponsor, Tricknick. Tricknick is a Jamaican owned and operated company in Canada, and they use authentic Jamaican herbs and spices to make all their products. Please, if you want to get 25% discount on all that they sell, you can shop at www.tricknick.ca and use the code I am sure sports 001. Please go ahead, people, and buy some stuff over there. Also, there's iMaxit as well, so you can check them out. There we go. Yeah. Hope I didn't miss any. If I did, I just totally forgot. Don't be so hard on me. But love and respect everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day. Please be safe, right? Listen, keep your money and your wallet in your front pocket. Keep it in your front pocket. Don't put no money in your back pocket. Apparel like the Chinese man in them time. Military guna. Oh Lord. How can I miss out military guna? Who was even here? Halftime TV, military guna. Please. Oh, could I miss out military guna? Bless up. Soldier, bless up yourself. All right, so God bless you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day, and it was good being with you. I'll leave you with a word from our sponsors.
Picnic Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, Scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
Of 18 Jamaican herbs and spices, add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Trick Nick Jerk Barbecue Sauce.